Hello, Dorothy. Welcome to the land of Oz.
There is no way that there is a whole yellow brick road. Why did they paint an entire...
Need to take a picture of everything.
Yes, I do. The Tin Man. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow, 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 follow. Follow the yellow brick road. Munchkin Land. Oz. And the apple trees and the rainbow.
Don't they throw apples at Dorothy?
They do. They throw apples at Dorothy. Emerald City.
The Emerald City does not look as big as the city.
The rainbow.
What'd you say?
Monkeys. The poppies. The poppies. The field of poppies. Munchkin Land.
Look, it's Munchkin Land. Oh, there's Munchkin Land. I'm gonna go back to the chicken.
Bye-bye.
See ya. I feel like they changed this.
And there's no place like home. Okay, Wendy. It's time to get out of Oz. Time to go home. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Soul Messenger 369 Tarot. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting read. It might be a little long. This is all about, as you saw from this first video, the Wizard of Oz. Okay, this is going to be a bit of a decoding the Wizard of Oz read. Okay, and so for the occasion, I have two Wizard of Oz decks that I have gotten just for this occasion. Okay, so we will be using these decks and any others that I may need as clarifiers. But before we do that, I have a lot of notes. So if you want, I will put a little note when I make the video of at what point in the video the actual card reading starts, if you want to skip ahead to that point. So first I want to put a disclaimer. Okay, that this is all for entertainment purposes, right? Okay, I am not a financial advisor. Okay, I'm not a certified anything. So this is not meant to be, you know, a place for you to, to make financial decisions or anything like that based off of the information that comes out here. I am just taking the information that as I see it, or that as it has been given to me by Spirit. All right, and if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to the video and or the channel as a whole. We are almost to 500 subscribers, and we're going to be doing a prize giveaway when we get there. And so the faster we get there, you know, the faster we can give out those free prizes. So, okay. Now, not everything in here is going to make sense. I'm just going to be pointing things out for the most part and maybe put some pieces together. But really, that's going to be on you to put the pieces together as you see fit. I also want to put a little bit of a warning here, trigger warning, all right? You may never see things the same again after we go through all of this, right? Okay, so just to clarify, I am specifically talking about the book written by L. Frank Baum in 1900. Well, actually, it was written in 1899, published in 1900. And the movie from 1939 with Judy Garland in it. Okay. All right. So overall, okay, there's a couple different ways to see these things. All right. One could be that, you know, for this young girl, you know, it's about going through puberty, changes, growing up, no longer innocent, you know, vulnerable child, etc. Right, and this is about like her journey through that experience. Okay, in a wild, imaginative way. Okay, there is a darker side. There's a darker side to look at this, which is also that ultimately, right, it could be about like the trafficking of young girls, like especially runaways. Through like drugs and stuff like that, through DC, okay, and to powerful people possibly in the Middle East, or you know. So anyway, those are just some of the interpretations. All right. Others are that it could be, you know, it's like an unknowing witch of a powerful bloodline, right? Awakening to the spiritual realm and using her powers to create change in the spirit world, you know, unknowingly, you know, basically just being like, you know, the hand of God, God working through her to get certain things done. And also it can be a good omen. All right. These can be signs meant to lead us to a message. All right. A deeper message, a message for right now, a message from the past as well. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes that's just how spirit works, right? Okay. So decoding the Wizard of Oz. Oz, number one, OZ is the, abbreviation for ounce. Okay, when we're talking about like gold, silver, copper, precious metals, things like that. Okay, so that's important. All right. Okay, so we have the yellow brick road. Okay, this could be a symbol for gold, right? Which is a symbol for the sun, the male, a male, and the patriarchy. All right, it's also follow the yellow brick road, follow the money. Okay. Now, originally her shoes were silver, not ruby. And silver, what does this mean? Okay. Number one, silver has been severely undervalued for a very long time. Okay. The average ratio to gold versus silver used to be 15-1. Now it's 80 to 100 to 1. So it is intentionally been held down, held back, withheld, undervalued. This is important, especially if we're talking about internationally, with the war that's going on right now with Iran, considering that, you know, Iraq, which has already been through war now, has had its currency undervalued for a very long time as well. Who determines the value of these currencies and you know, the metals, the precious metals and gems and jewels and stuff? Well, that would be the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements, This is the Federal Reserve, I don't know, the Bank of England, all of these international financial systems, right? They're ultimately really the ones that decide. Right. So, okay, silver, right? Okay, so what are some of the symbolisms of silver? The moon, right? The feminine. Hidden, possibly, if we're talking about ruby, right? It could be a hidden bloodline. Right? So there could be something here about it was hidden, and then the bloodline was hidden, and then they changed it to ruby because now it's come out, it's been exposed. Okay, hidden, oppressed, undervalued, feminine, and the matriarchy. Okay, this is important, I'm going to say, at this moment in time, because energetically, astrologically, right now, I've talked about it many times, especially in the last few videos, about how this is actually a very important time for us energetically because of the astrology that's going on here and what it actually means. Now, with this sun we get here as well, it's important because the sun is entering Aries, right? And with all the other energetic stuff we have going on, one of the possible interpretations of this is a change in regime. This is important because that is what happens basically in the Wizard of Oz, because the wizard gets exposed, basically ran out of town, and that leaves an opening for new management, so to speak. Okay, and then we're talking about in the spiritual realm. Now, this could actually happen in the physical as well, but you know, the fake, phony, you know, God that we have been told to worship, right? The male God of pretty much all religions, which are false, because the one that was hidden was the mother, the true God. Okay, so it's basically, I believe, an indication that now is the time where we're going to be the powers that be are changing spiritually from the patriarchy to the matriarchy. Things are being set right in that manner. Okay, we're talking a lot about reset. Okay, so it's also about not just a reset, but setting things right. Okay, there's a lot more, so I do apologize. This is going to be a long one. If this does not interest you, I please do ask that you still, you know, like the video, because it's like the least you could do energetically to help us. But also because there may be somebody else out there who is actually looking for this kind of information, and they'll never find it if we don't. Okay, so then we have Kansas. What's the symbolism of Kansas? Well, it's supposed to be like everyday people, farmers, stuff like that, right? But also, if you look deeper, their motto is ad astra per aspera, to the stars through difficulty. So again, we're talking about astrology a lot lately, right? This is kind of what the message is here, is that in times of difficulty, look to the stars. Why do we look to the stars? Because one, it gives us hope, but two, it gives us a message, lots of messages. God speaks through the sun, the moon, and the stars, right? Okay. And so that is kind of what we're doing. Also, it may be an indication that there will be times of difficulty here, as I'll get to later. Okay, so there's a storm. Okay, there's a storm, right? The tornado comes and there's a storm. Well, this could be an NDE, a near-death experience for her, that kind of is what like takes her into this spiritual realm. Okay, it could also be just a tower moment, like war. Okay, like we have now kind of entered into this soft war with Iran, and then we have over the rainbow, right? It's spiritual, it's the spiritual world, the dream world, the ethers, the astral. Okay, what is a rainbow? A rainbow is a sign of hope, faith, promise, transformation, a bridge connecting earthly and spiritual realms. There's also, as we have been speaking a lot lately in the most recent videos, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay. Also, we have the theme colors of Oz are green and gold, right? Emerald and gold. So what could this symbolize? Lots of different things, possibly having a heart of gold, okay? Maybe this ruby, pure bloodline, okay? Also, okay, well, let's take a look at that for a second, all right? Let's look at emerald. What is emerald? It's green, so it could symbolize money, envy, also the heart chakra. Anyone born in the month of May's birthstone would be an emerald. Sorry. It's a symbol of rebirth, renewal, growth, spring, love, fertility, intuition, wisdom, and good fortune. Then we have ruby. It is the birthstone for July. So the time of May to July, spring into summer, could be very important here. All right. It symbolizes passion, prosperity, protection. It is known as the king of precious stones, believed to grant invincibility and peace to its wearer. Okay, so it's like guaranteed to win, impossible to fail. Also, it is, I believe, could possibly represent what I have called in the past the red thread, which is also known as like the rose bloodline. All right, it's like the bloodline of like Jesus and Mary Magdalene kind of thing. If you believe in that, you can do more research, okay, on your own. Okay, so Toto, I believe, also is a representation of a spirit guide or a spiritual protection. And then you have the farmhands, okay, who is the Tin Man, Hickory, Scarecrow, Huck, and Lion, Zeke. So these people are in her real world, and then as she goes into the spiritual realm, she sees them in a different light, possibly in a truer light, or a deeper level, okay? As the Tin Man, you know, the man without a heart, the Scarecrow, the man without a brain, and Lion, you know, the cowardly lion who needs a little courage. So she starts to be able to see differently, to see through people's facades, to see them spiritually on another level, okay? All right, and then we have the Wicked Witch. She's cat lady neighbor, Miss Elvira Gulch, and she owned half the county. I mean, she's the Wicked Witch, right? She's the evil witch who, you know, is selfish, unkind, you know, makes mountains out of molehills, creates drama just because she has nothing better to do, right? And because she can, right? Because she has the power, you know, to get the sheriff to give her whatever she wants, like paperwork to come and get the dog stuff, okay? Also, okay, so this could be a symbol of humble beginnings, rags to riches, a spiritual experience, bringing heaven to earth, overall. All right. Now we're going to look at the lyrics to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, right? Way up high in the land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. So this to me is a lot about stolen dreams as well. Okay. Like we had talked about, a little bit in recent videos, stolen destinies, things like that. Okay, so that could be something, right? Having your dreams stolen, you know, in the spirit. Okay, and then someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. And somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. If happy little bluebirds fly above the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Right? Okay. Yeah, it's just talking about good times, better times, dreams becoming reality, you know, going over the rainbow, you know, to reach the pot of gold and all that good stuff that we've already talked about. All right, so also a little bit of symbolism here. The Scarecrow represents the farmers. The Tin Man represents industry, machines, tech, AI, stuff like that, business owners, right? And I believe that the lion would then represent like government workers type stuff, okay? Okay, so one of the things that we want to talk about here is in, like I said, sometimes these things are a bit of an omen, right? So it was in 1900 that the book was published. In 1939 is when the movie was made. And in 1933, May, I'm going to point out May of 1933. That's important because we were talking about emerald and the birthstone is May. President Roosevelt signed executive. See, this is like my health, my mouth, my chakra. Get out. Okay, this is they don't like when you talk about these things. Executive Order 6102, requiring citizens to turn in gold for paper money, valued at $20.67 per ounce. This was during the Great Depression, and supposedly in order to stabilize the government by increasing the money supply, which was then constrained by a gold standard. So it was like all money, like gold was the worldwide currency. So all money at that time was held to a gold standard. Your money was only as good as how much gold you had. And so in order to increase, I guess, the ranking, America basically stole its citizens' gold. Because there was a legal penalty of $10,000 or up to 10 years in prison if they didn't. If they were found to have withheld from the government their personal abundance. Okay, and then in the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, okay, solidified the government's ownership of all gold reserves, which were, I guess at that point, held in Fort Knox, and revealed and revalued gold to a $35 per ounce, which was $15 more per ounce than they had paid people just a year prior. Right? So they forced people to turn in their gold for $15 less than what they valued it at just a year later. It's basically theft, okay? Stealing the abundance of, and the dreams, okay, right? Let's call them dreams of the everyday people. And then the ban, there was literally a ban on private ownership of gold. You could not privately own gold. This is relevant because at this point in time, technically there is a ban on Americans owning dinar. It is the currency of Iraq. Really, more than just Iraq, but I think there's other countries like Turkey and stuff in the Middle East that use it as well. I don't know if Iran does or not, but that would be significant if they did. So yeah. The ban of private ownership of gold was lifted on December 31st, 1974. So for 40 years, they could not, nobody was allowed to own gold beyond that of like jewelry or whatever, right? Currently, no one is technically supposed to be allowed to own the Iraq dinar. I do believe that there are things happening right now to kind of lift that, which would indicate a coming revaluation, which a lot of people have been expecting. If you don't know, look at Nasara, Jasara, worldwide currency revaluation, stuff like that, okay? All right. Okay, so basically there's a crisis created, the Great Depression, to force people to give up their gold for less than it was worth, ensuring the government holds all the power, right? All the money, all the power. Right, because if anyone individually had actually somehow had more gold than the government, then they would have been more powerful. than the government itself. So they want to make sure, the government wants to make sure that they're always the one in power. God forbid. God forbid the people have the power. All right, okay, so the Emerald City could represent the Federal Reserve, okay? Ran by a wizard controlled by, the crowned heads of Europe and Britain. Now, I got this because in the movie, when she comes upon, the gypsy wizard guy, it says on his little trailer, crowned, like, something about being, like known or crowned by the heads of Europe, okay? So this could be the Emerald City, the Federal Reserve, DC, whatever, a representation ran by a wizard, a person of no real power, just a talking head, all right, who is controlled by something more unseen, okay? Like the crowned heads of Europe. Like I said, it's like the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, really the Rothschilds and whatever other, big banking families there are out there. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So ultimately, too, what we learned from this is that, overall, the monetary system, the international monetary system worldwide, okay, is ran by spiritualists, which also could mean that individually each country's monetary system is ran by spiritualists, right? Okay, so it's ran by witches and wizards, if that's what you want to call them, but basically people who know and understand the truth and reality of the spiritual realm and how it works here in the real world. They could also be controlled by spirits, okay? And that's a way you want to look at it, but I think it's one of those things where it's not like an NPC where they're unknowingly being controlled by spirits, but more if they are being controlled by spirits, they know they're being controlled by spirits, right? Knowingly. Anyways. Okay, so she tries to run away, right? And this basically sets her, Dorothy tries to run away, and this basically is the beginning of her journey, right? She takes a leap of faith, she bounces, right out of there. And this begins her journey, okay? This could be a spiritual journey. This could be, like I said before, a journey of, like puberty, right? Okay. Whatever the case may be, however you want to look at it. She ran into Professor Marvel, who is later on the same character as the Wizard of Oz.
I like two of these.
Okay.
I like this one and that one.
Yes. Who is acclaimed, that's what it said, acclaimed by the crowned heads of Europe.
This one too.
And it says, let him read your past, present, and future. And he's like a master of juggling and sleight of hand. Stealing, like I said, like stealing, okay? Like the government, the talking heads, basically, just stole the dreams and abundance, the gold, for less money than it was worth from their own people, from the entire country, forced them to do so. Anyways, all right. Then he tries to, send her home. She ends up caught in the storm, right? We already talked about the symbolism of the storm. All right, then she ends up crossing over into this other realm, this other world, right? This other reality. Or just seeing things differently, right? Okay. Okay, so then the Wicked Witch of the East is accidentally dead, okay, which freed the Munchkins. Now she's being hunted by the sister, the Wicked Witch of the West, okay? So, she absorbs the witch's powers, the slippers, right? Okay. And the only way out is through, right? The only way for her to get out of Oz is to go through it. This is consistent with the spiritual journey, right? The only way out is to go through it. Dorothy does good deeds on her journey. She helps 3 men learn important lessons, right? Brains for stupid, heart for the robot, and courage for the coward. This could be, okay, if you or anything like me resonate for you on a level of relationships, right? Coming into relationships with the wrong people, karmics, right? Okay, people that you were there to help them learn a lesson and vice versa, although I'm not really sure what lessons she learned from them. Right, okay, the talking heads, government demands, oh, right, yes, so when she gets to Oz, right, and she finally does go in front of the Wizard of Oz, he demands an impossible task, sends her on a wild goose chase, basically tries to send her to her death, which she actually is able to do, right, to defeat the Wicked Witch of the West. So she actually, ends up killing both the Wicked Witch of the East and the Wicked Witch of the West, which basically puts her in a position of power, right? Because now they're both gone, and somebody, you know, somebody stands to hold that position of power, and being that she's the one that defeated them, it's her. So again, we're looking at the idea of like the regime change here, if we're going on astrologically, what's going on right now. And then, right, okay, so when the house drops on the witch, and then Glinda the good witch comes in, she asks, are you a good witch or a bad witch? And she's like, I'm not a witch, but she is. She just doesn't know it, right? So anyway, and she's a good witch. And so again, this is like the idea of a spiritual takeover, right? Good witches, bad witches, right? The unintentional or divinely orchestrated, okay? So this is like God changing the regime, changing the guard, right? From the old guard to the new guard kind of thing, right? Because maybe these people got corrupted, right? Maybe they weren't always, you know, evil. Maybe the money is what made them evil. I don't know. All right, and then there's the symbolism of the apples and the trees, right? When she tries to take a bite and then they get mad and they start throwing apples at her. This could be a symbolism of temptation being thrown at her along her journey, which a lot of us are experiencing now. And then we're being told to hold the line in that case, right? All right, then we have the Tin Man, oil, right? Industry, yeah, all that. Then we have the poppies, okay? This is important because the poppies that put them to sleep, right? This is representative of drugs, addiction, and also distraction, right? And then the snow comes down. So this is symbolism of drugs like opioids, right? Which were very heavily grown in the Middle East at the time. They have a lot of regulations to prevent that now, but I still think that a lot of the opioids, even the legal ones, are probably grown in that area because it's native to that area. Anyway, snow, cocaine, right? More drugs. So this is again like going along with the temptation, right? You may be tempted with drugs and alcohol and things like this to try to kind of derail you, hold you back, take you off your path, but also with the relationships, right? As we were talking about the men. They're really more distractions for her than anything else. And she helps them learn things, but what are they actually teaching her? I don't really know, but also symbolizing that DC, okay, it's on the path to DC, follow the money, right? On the path to the Emerald City. It's built on like drug money, and like I said before, trafficking, right? All of these things are here if you choose to look at it in the right way, okay? Okay, so then we have right, the haunted forest. This is confronting dark spirits, war with darkness, right? Okay, we have the flying monkeys. It's just the henchmen of darkness, right? You may have come up against a lot of flying monkeys, you know. You've got, you know, when you're going on this spiritual battle, you have your your levels. And when you reach a certain level, you have like your head guy, right, that you're taking on, but you have had to work your way up to it, right? Trying to figure out, you know, who is on your side and who is not, who's working for who, all this stuff, right? The henchmen, the flying monkeys, along the way, who the monitoring spirits are and things like that. Right, and once you get past the flying monkeys and all that, then you get the head guy, and once you defeat that, then you level up. It's like a game, a video game in that way, if you want to look at it that way. All right, spiritual attacks. So the witches, the witch does the sand timer on her, right? It's death spells, right? So also along the way, you have witches sending death spells towards you. And of course she defeats this as well because she wears the ruby slippers. She has the divine protection of the red thread, as I've called it in previous videos, also known as the rose bloodline. It is a very powerful, like shamanic, spiritual bloodline that at some point in time held spiritual authority. And with the regime change, this is important because I do believe that at ancient times, okay, but somewhere along the line in ancient times, this they took over. The power was taken from them. There was a regime change, and so now we're getting to the point where there's another regime change, and it's just being reset, it's being rectified, it's being put back the way it was supposed to be all along, where basically it's like hello, goodbye to the matriarchy, and hello to the patriarchy, and hello to the matriarchy. All right, please and thank you. Good grief. Okay, so then we have let me just put this in here. Union. Okay. So we have water melts the wicked witch. All right. So this is, and I found it funny because I didn't even see it this way until I watched a little bit more, and then the Wizard of Oz himself said it, and then I was like, oh, that's what it means. Liquidated. The wicked witch got liquidated. All right. And then they say, you know, all hail, right? You know, Dorothy, basically, and it's basically the light and the dark both rejoice. I think even the flying monkeys are happy to no longer have to answer to the wicked witch. Also, it's important to note that the wizard was the gatekeeper. The same guy who played the wizard was also the gatekeeper. So there's gatekeepers, right? And they don't want to let you in, and they're really like told to turn you away and turn you every which way, send you on the wild goose chase, all that stuff, right? And the Wizard of Oz is just the ultimate like gatekeeper. All right, water signs. Okay, so what does it? Okay, we are finally almost done at this point with this section, and we will move on to the cards very soon. Okay, so we have, you know, what does it mean to be liquidated? Well, it is when a company usually is forced to close and sell all of its assets, right? Turning assets into cash, an inability to pay debts, financial, but I'm going to include and or karmic debts here, because in order to do a lot of the spells and spiritual work that they did, you know, they had to take on a lot of spiritual debt, karmic debt, because every time they did things to stop her, block her, harm her, right, they were putting themselves more and more, you know, in karmic debt. They were accruing more and more negative karma, to the point that eventually, like, there's a crash. Okay, so there could be some kind of crash, okay, coming, financially, possibly, most likely, but it could also be government wise, okay, possibly both. Okay, so turning assets into cash voluntarily or involuntarily, you know, the process of closing. And then there's this theme of it was inside you all along, the brain, the heart, the courage, etc. Also with Dorothy, the power, she had the power all along, she just had to believe it. Okay, so when the Wizard of Oz leaves, right, he basically leaves the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow in charge. So this could be a sign of giving the power back to the people, okay? Like I said, maybe giving the money back to the people, because the money is the power, right? Okay. Then we have, you know, Dorothy, who says, you know, I want to go home, and there's no place like home, there's no place like home. So we're going to look at what exactly home is, okay? This is important because, you know, as a child, I used to have this yearning, this feeling, this desire, this burning inside of me, to the feeling of, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. Even when I was actually at home in my house with my family, I just had this feeling of, I want to go home. And I believe that, you know, many of you out there might have experienced that as well. So what exactly does this mean? Well, it could mean back to self, okay? Finding your identity. And what is a home? A home is a haven, okay? Also, maybe haven, heaven, all right? Bringing, you know, heaven on earth. It is a place to rest, a place to be yourself, a place to be with loved ones, a place to celebrate, a place where you feel safe, a place to hold your memories, a place to be loved and felt loved. It is an outer reflection of your inner self. It is a place of privacy, of comfort, a place where you feel you belong, okay? It is also, if we're talking about heaven on earth, it is the place that you build for yourself, to your liking, your specifications, to your desires, your dream, okay? A door, an opening, a portal, a returning point, a point of return, a point where you can return to somewhere to heal, to rejuvenate, to, you know, to get back to yourself. And then there's home is where the heart is. Home is what you make it. And also could be, you know, the feeling of to be a child again, right? To return to innocence or childlike ways, to return to a point in time where, you know, you didn't have to worry about anything, you know, because like mom and dad took care of it. And then there's the Four of Wands is the home card in tarot, and it represents stability, a contract or a new contract. Like I said, new contract, new regime, okay, regime change kind of thing, security, safety, lineage, bloodline, family, soul family, spirituality, and union. Again, this, I'm just going to reiterate because this is the last thing that I have written down here, is that basically, let the matriarchy begin. The patriarchy is bankrupt, morally, spiritually, financially. There's going to be, I guess, some kind of liquidation process, and it is time for the matriarchy to begin. So, and then whatever that means to you, you know, what does home mean to you? To me, home ultimately is where the patriarchy is in charge, because under where the matriarchy is in charge, because under the patriarchy it's been a living hell, and we're bringing heaven to earth now. You know, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick break and I'll be back to pull these cards. All right. Now, I'm going to start pulling the cards. I have no idea what's going to come out here, because I feel like so much has already come out just through, you know, like the decode, the interpretation. But, you know, we'll see what Spirit has to say or add. Spirit, what do we need to know about this decoding of the Wizard of Oz, and what it means for right now? Wonderful. Okay, we have the Seven of Spears. There's the Wizard of Oz, thieving Wizard of Oz, theft. Ace of Bricks. This Ace of Pentacles, stealing money, just like I said. Two of Bricks. And Three of Bricks. So this is the Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, and Three of Pentacles. This could be multiple groups of covens, okay? Juggling, struggling, trying to steal the money, the finances, okay? That's just confirmation. Ah, shit. I told you. It's not a full read if we don't have the cards falling on the freaking floor. I'm sorry. I don't know why this is shaking so damn bad. It doesn't usually do that. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Ooh, the Seven of Cans, the Devil, and the Tower. What does that tell you, man? The Seven of Cups. The illusion is broken. The devil has fallen. Okay. Oh, heck yeah. All right. And that is symbolic of, like, you know, the false god. Okay. The false god, the false regime, the false government. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means or looks like. You know what I mean? Yeah, we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, they got caught. You know, they're going to jail. Got caught, going to jail. Yep, the Tower. Time is of the essence. Yeah, the time is now. Okay, they've been caught. They've been found out. There is, was, or will be some type of fall of the current structure. Okay. And then, right, so somebody's going to have to take the fall. Somebody's going to have to take the blame. And rather than, you know, put the blame where it doesn't belong, it's going to go where it does, so that we can actually create meaningful, positive, lasting change. And where does it belong? Well, most likely the bloodlines, the banking bloodlines of the world, right? Knight of Wands. Don't stop me now. Tall guy. Queen of Cups. I honor me. Also, I'm getting with this too, just, you know, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted with relationships right now. Focus on what's important. Focus on your money. All right. Don't focus so much on what's going on in the world around us, you know, the war and all that. Try not to watch the news. When it becomes important and relevant, then, you know, it'll be obvious. All right. And then you'll know, okay, well, now I need to pay attention. What do I need to do now? And you will be guided at that point in time. In the meantime, don't get caught up. Okay. Don't freak out. Don't lose faith. Don't get distracted. Right? As we wait for whatever comes next. This is the Queen of Wands. I embody my desires. And the King of Wands. I am not afraid. So as we wait, we're waiting. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for a power couple, a practitioner, King and Queen of Wands to come together. Oh, it's sticky. Brand new deck. Don't do that. Yeah, we're waiting for the King and Queen of Wands. And I'm getting, you know, practitioners, right? These spiritualists, a pair to come together. So again, don't get distracted by Knights of Wands. You know, you're waiting for a King of Wands. And that could be important because this is how they harvest your energy to cause delays and continue to do this. But the time is now. So I think we have enough people paying attention. King of Swords. Papering the cracks. And a new day has dawned. Ace of Pentacles. A new day has dawned. Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is like a new financial beginning, okay? King of Swords. Legally, right? There's like some idea of like legal matters, legal protection here, protecting your money legally. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I forgot to mention. Okay, since we're talking about the, you know, the witch and the wizard, or the spiritual couple, or whatever, right? Or maybe this is just for other people to step into their spiritual power and balancing their masculine and feminine. Maybe that's what we're waiting for, right? For enough people to have done that or be doing that. So you need to do that as well. But also, okay, High Priestess has not come out yet, but I want to tell you about my High Priestess moment, okay? So I did like the Scrabble game, right? That I haven't done in a really long time, and then it was really just uncanny, no coincidences, how as I was driving to the Wizard of Oz playground that I showed you the videos of in the beginning, a lot of the things that came out in that reading I was seeing in the real world as I was taking this journey to this playground that I had just so happened to find online, right? Because Spirit led me to it, right? And there's a purpose and a reason for everything. And if you're guided to do something by Spirit, just fucking do it, right? That's King and Queen of Wands right there. And it was just, you know, it was just a way to confirm for me, for Spirit to confirm for me and with me that I was on the right track, I was doing the right thing, and also that, you know, sometimes there's a reason beyond all comprehension for why, you know, Spirit may want us to do something or be somewhere at a certain place and time. And yes, it was to bring this message, right? But also maybe there's a reason, you know, that I was meant to be there because you know, coming into contact with me may have changed someone's day, you know what I mean? And also it was super, super uncanny how when I got there, there's this cute little girl, couldn't have been more than 2 years old, right? And she wanted to climb up the stairs and go down the slide that my daughter was doing. My daughter was doing that. She kept watching her, and like you could tell she really wanted to do it, but she wasn't doing it. And I was like, well, you want to do it? Just come on over, you can do it. And you know, she was just hesitant, she was fearful, she wasn't quite sure of herself, and all it took was me just giving her that little nudge of encouragement. You know, I didn't touch her in any way or anything. I just told her, you can do it, you know, you can do that too. And you know, she came over, and the first thing she did was bonk her little head, and you know, and she kind of was like, you know, oh, that did not just happen, like, oh, I can't do this now. And I was like, it's okay, you're all right, you could do it, you're fine, you know. And then she was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm fine. And her mom kind of came over and was babying her a little bit, you know, but she still wanted to do it. And I was like, yeah, good for you, go ahead, yes, you could do it, you could still do it, of course you could still do it. And she did. She climbed up there all by herself, and even her mom was like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that. I'm like, of course she did that. Like, you know, if you back off and let her, you know, let her explore and do her thing and come into her own, and you give her, you know, the confidence and the support that she needs, of course she can do it, you know? And she was so happy, and she just did it again and again and again and again. And then it was funny because a little while later, I heard them calling her name, and it sounded like Ariel, which is my daughter's name. And I was like, oh, is her name Ariel? And they said, no, it's Ethereal. And I was like, oh my God, You know, what a sign. What a sign, okay? Ethereal. That is like literally like the astral realm, right? Ethereal, you know, spiritual. And I was like, yeah, that's just confirmation. Thank you so much. What a wonderful day. You know, and I do believe that, you know, mostly it was just, the whole experience was just supposed to be, you know, confirmation for me, between me and spirit, that, you know, I was doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I'm, you know, I'm not crazy. Even though a lot of people might beg to differ, but ultimately, you know, I'm just doing what I'm led spiritually to do, and that's pretty much what my purpose is at this point in time, and probably for the rest of my life. So anyway, if you like it, do it. Strength. Yeah. This is, you know, God. This is the sun, right? This is Leo. This is strength. This is spiritual strength, an inner knowing, okay? Having courage, right? Taught her maybe a little bit about having courage in the moment. Don't be afraid. Having the courage to be who you are, to step up and do what it is that you want to do, because you know, how terrible would it have been if she had missed out on that moment because she was afraid. And her mother was too afraid to let her do it, you know? Yeah, this is the 4 of cans, the 5 of bricks, and the 6 of bricks. So we are rejecting poverty. We are rejecting being stolen from. We are rejecting being held down and being held back. And 6 of bricks, we are demanding reciprocity. We are demanding equality. We are demanding that our money, that the scales be balanced, and that our money be given back to us in a fair manner, okay? Right? So I feel like this moment in time, whatever is about to occur, is kind of making up for 222 on the clock. Is making up for whatever had been done in the past, okay? Like from the government stealing the gold in the past, and forcing people to cash out, knowing it was being undervalued at the time. And also this is just about no longer allowing ourselves to be undervalued and devalued, and demanding, you know, equality and reciprocity and equal pay, right? You know, being treated equally, but also spiritually, okay? What else do we need to know? I'm gonna close this out. I feel like it's been forever. Yeah, 7 of bricks. This is receiving what you worked hard for, right? It's the 7 of pentacles, right? This is reaping your harvest. This is receiving what you have worked hard for. And 7 of spears, it's being protected by the King of Spears, the wands, right? Okay. You are spiritually protected by high level, okay? High level beings, okay, in the spirit. You are protected. And this is happening, right, for our best and highest good. It is part of our spiritual protection, okay, because this money is going to help to protect us. Oh, sorry, I just put it on the sticky thing again. This money is going to protect us for many generations to come, okay? All right, what else do we need to know? The Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords. It says, I make the rules now and I believe in myself. This is like an investigation, okay, having been done. and the truth having come out, and we're standing in our power. We're speaking up about it. We're speaking up about what has been done to us. We are no longer we're no longer accepting, okay, being stolen from, being treated less than, okay. And this is all female, female too. This Knight of Swords is female, which is unusual. Usually it's male. So this is about standing up for ourselves, and also this is about men, good, true, loving, spiritual men standing up for women and femininity. Okay, also standing in their own, divine feminine power, not being afraid, not being, not being afraid to be looked at as in a feminine way, like it's a bad thing, to be sweet, loving, kind, caring, and nurturing. Like, I mean, it's okay. You don't always have to be a jackass, right? That's not, yeah. Anyway, and making the rules, changing the rules. Yeah, women making the rules. Queen of Swords, women ruling, making the rules. Like I said, it's the matriarchy. It's the matriarchy. So women are going to make the rules. Patriarchy is bankrupt. All right, and say hello to the matriarchy. No. All right, I'm just gonna put these back and switch decks again. All right. Any last words? Some people might get charged with treason. I'm just picking that up right now. The Nine of Bricks and the Five of Brooms. This is a battle that you have had to fight all by yourself for a really long time. But it's like, I feel like you're not alone anymore, okay? If you have found a good spiritual group, okay? Loving, supportive, like collective, then, you're not alone anymore. You don't have to be alone anymore. Even if all your friends are online, that's okay. We have the Ten of Bricks in the world. This ends with a lot of money, a lot of good prosperity. This ends with the world. It's like being given back the world. The world is being given back to the people that it was stolen from, okay? All the money is being given back, but the world too. The legacy, the generations, the bloodlines, okay? The world was basically stolen by a few choice bloodlines, and there's a tower, right? And they did this monetarily, right? Okay, to try to control what they could not in the spirit, right? Because it's like the female rules in the spiritual realm, and so they felt like the patriarchy had to rule in the physical realm, even though that was never God's intention. And now things are being set right, okay? There's a tower to the devil, okay? And the Ten of Pentacles and the world, okay? So it's like everything's going to be all right in the end. This is the end, and there's a lot of money at stake here, and everything's going to be set right. Everything's going to be made right. Financially, there's going to be, a lot of happiness, a lot of celebration, a lot of fulfillment. Also karma, fulfillment of karma. This is karma. It is karma that this false monetary system, sees its end. The devil, the evil, yeah, it's all going down. It's going down. All right. Well, that is the read. I hope this has helped you in some way, shape, or form. I hope, if nothing else, it has entertained you for a few moments in time, and that if you haven't already, you will like, share, and subscribe. Also, again, I'm not a professional, so take it with a grain of salt, but maybe time to buy some silver, because that has been severely undervalued, and I think that that is one of the things that is going to change here. They're not going to have any choice. And maybe some foreign currency. All right, bye.